Good morning. Good morning, cubies and newbies. I am Sunshine. It's a beautiful day. Oh, it looks like it snowed. Looks like it snowed last night. A little bit of white touching the grass. Alrighty. What am I doing? Start stream, end stream. Update people. Hi. Okay. I am Sunshine. Whoa. Don't get excited. I am Sunshine. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. That's Formula A right there. 4 moves. And that's Formula B right there. 8 moves. And what it means is you hold a cube between your hands and you look at the front face as if it were a spreadsheet with rows and columns. And those are, the arrow represents the slice that you turn, and the line represents everything else. So you're only moving one slice at a time. Formula A uses 1 row and one column. Formula B uses the top row and 2 columns, and it moves 3 pieces around. Formula A brings a piece to the top, twists it around if needed, like for example the corner or the absolute center, and Formula B moves 3 pieces around, and that's all you ever need to do. Top row outside columns, move the corner like so, slide up, slide down, and only 3 pieces are ever moved at the same time. Okay, so top row and outside columns moves 3 corners around. Done once is clockwise, done twice is counterclockwise, and 3 times is back to your beginning. Okay, if you use an outside row and an inner row, outside and inner, then it moves edge pieces around. For example, if I apply Formula B to this piece and I want it to land over here, I move it away. First up is where it's going to land, back, second up is where it begins, and now it's placed there, and down and down. And 3 pieces, and only 3 pieces are ever moving, so you don't have to, can you guys hear me okay? Alright, so the reason why this is faster for me is because of how my brain works. Algorithms, my brain has to translate the letters into the slices, and it's easier for me to just have it visual. And also with algorithms, you have to memorize the algorithm, you have to memorize what the algorithm does, and you have to memorize the order to use the algorithm so it's not messing up other things. Formula B is just only moves the 3 pieces that I want to move, so it doesn't matter. I can do it, the first set to place can be interchanged with the last set to place, so it doesn't matter. It's always just the same thing. I don't have to look at it and remember which algorithm to use. I just use B on everything, and I don't have to remember. I don't have to have one algorithm for going clockwise and one algorithm for going counterclockwise, because in the amount of time it takes me to look which algorithm do I use, I can just do Formula A, and if it didn't do it, I do Formula B. If it didn't do it, do Formula B again, and it's the right one. So it's easier to do it once or twice without taking time to evaluate which one to do. So that's okay. So I did the corners, I did the edge pieces, absolute center. Pick a piece on the front that wants to go to the top, and it goes up. You slide to a different column, which is on a diagonal is important to pay attention to, because if I go this way, it's the same column, so that doesn't work. So I go up, slide to a different column, second up, reverse down, and I moved 3 pieces around. It looks like I moved 2 pieces around, but it always moves 3 pieces. In this case, 2 of the pieces were orange. So we couldn't tell we were moving 3, but these 3 pieces moved. Again, if I line this up, this piece will land here, but this piece is not going to land here, it's going to land over here. So to apply to this piece, up, slide to a different angle, different column, second up, reverse down, and again it did not move here, it moved here. So you're always moving 3 pieces, and that's all you need to do to solve every complexity Rubik's Cube, because the cube is basically honest. It's always going to, you do the thing, the thing is always going to happen. And so if there's one piece to move, there's always going to be 3 pieces or more to move. The exception to that is what we call a parity, and it's not really an exception because a parity is a lie, so we don't need to worry about parities. But a parity, by definition, is something that appears on a 4x4 or larger that you don't have to know to do the 3x3. And the reason why you didn't have to know it to do the 3x3 is because the 3x3 has every piece has a precise place that it's going to go. There aren't any 2 pieces that you can switch around on a 3x3, but on a 4x4, this piece could be correctly here, or here, or here, or here. So every center piece that's not the absolute center has one of 4 places that it can visually be correct. And so you can put pieces in a visually correct place, but a mathematically incorrect place. And when that happens is when you get your parity, which is 2 pieces out of place. It will usually, excuse me, water, haha. If you have learned the reduction method, your parity is going to end up side by side with each other because you paired your center, you paired your edges, and then you tried to place them. And so this one wants to be here, this one wants to be here, which visually looks like only 1 piece is flipped, and we can't have 1 piece flipped. It's always 3. It looks like 2. The reason why it looks like there's 2 is the center piece, the slice that touches that parity. Whether the parity is opposite each other or adjacent to each other or on different sides, it doesn't matter whether there's 2 and only 2. There's always 3. The third piece that you don't see is the third piece that you don't see, and the slice that is touching that parity is a quarter turn off. So you move it a quarter turn either direction, doesn't matter, because it doesn't have to be 0 turns off, it has to be an even number of turns off. So you make that slice, set the edges with that direction, and the parity disappeared, and you can then reset your centers if they are not correct. Because even though it looked like they were correct, if they were correct, you wouldn't have had a parity. So that's the quick overview thumbnail sketch of the ABCube method. If you're just joining me, I am Sunshine, and I teach the ABCube method. It's my method, and I created it. I'm proud of myself. It's published online at speedsolving.com. speedsolving.org, speedsolving.something, but it's also published online right here at abcube.how, and I apologize for the typo there. That comma is supposed to be a dot, but you don't actually need the www. I only put that in there because it looks more like a URL. But if you go to abcube.how, that takes you to my wiki page, which is an overview, which is the nuts and bolts of how the ABCube method works. Yes, I have a YouTube, but the YouTube is not really standalone. The YouTube is all of the videos that are part of abcube.how, just taken and put into a playlist on YouTube, so that's good. And then YouTube is an upload of all of my most of my streams here, all of the entertaining, all of the yeah. So good morning. My brain is still asleep, can you tell? So Monday I did the corners, which led to the 2x2 being solved, and everything else. It led to the corners then dictate what color the face wants to be, which with a 3x3, we always worked around the center because the center was unable to move in relation to itself. But with a 4x4, we lost that reason, and so we just kept going and working from the center first because of habit. So I do the corners first because I can teach, no matter which cube the person has in their hand, I can teach them the first step is corners, and it works on everybody. So the second step after the corners is the opposite edges. In working with the corners, I did the yellow corners first, then the white corners. So in training my eyes to look for the yellow and white, I continued that pattern, and I did the yellow and white, the opposite edges of yellow and white first. Okay, so I held the yellow and white left and right, and I found anything that in the middle, any middle edge piece that had yellow or white, used Formula B to place it, and so the opposite edges are placed. Okay. The next step would be continue with the edges, but the next step would be the side edges. So we have to decide. I like yellow more than white because every cube has a yellow. Not every cube has a white if they're untraditionally layered, untraditionally colored. For example, I have most of my black cubes have white stickers, but if I have a white cube, they have black stickers. But it's always opposite yellow. Everything has a yellow, so I just start with yellow. So I'm going to take my white and I'm going to put it face down and abandon my white. I'm not really. The white is there to be a visual cue for me on if I get confused as to if I have too many columns I'm working with and get confused where I am. The white there marks the column that I'm on because the white comes forward to show me. So yellow and white left and right, the opposite edges are done. So now I put the white down, and I'm going to take, and I can do this either one piece at a time, or I can do it all the way up through the middle, but I'm going to displace a yellow piece down into an incorrect spot so that I can work with, because we've already established that Formula B moves a piece from the top front to the side front, and so we're going to keep doing that now we're going to work on the side edges. So I find an edge piece that's done. I'm going to, if you have an absolute center, now is a good time to place your centers before you start working on the sides. Just that will avoid a parity on the centers, but you still have the option of having a parity on the non-absolute center slices. And so for this one, I'm going to displace this yellow into an incorrect space. So I take this piece and I'm going to displace it. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Now this yellow moved bippity bop from the back, and as I place this piece somewhere, it's going to come back. So this yellow is going to ping pong back and forth until this yellow finds its way back to the top. And it will find its way back to the top as I place the displaced pieces where they want to be. So when the yellow finds its way back to the top, either correctly or incorrectly, as long as it's on the top layer, then we reevaluate where the sides are and keep going. So I'm looking, I'm ignoring everything on top except for the piece that does not belong there. Okay, I'm ignoring all the top layer except for the one piece I'm going to place. So I'm looking at this piece. It has two colors, one's not yellow. I hold the top layer and I move the entirety of the cube until the corners, as dictated by the bottom, till the corners match the front. Okay, so corners match the front, and the other color tells me which direction it's going to go. So it's going in the red direction, so it's going to land, the green and red is going to land above the green and red in something corner, not going to land above the green and orange something corner, so it's going to go in this direction. So first column is where it's going to land, second column is where it begins. Start by moving it away. So I'm applying this to apply Formula B to this cube, it's this column and this column. So away, first up, back, second up, away, down, back, down. Every other move is horizontal, every other horizontal is the reverse of the one before it. This cube is now placed. Okay, so I look for the piece that does not have yellow on it, the top piece on top that does not have the top color in it. Okay, and now we're going to use this, we're going to apply B to this piece. corners match the front already. It's going the orange direction, so it's going to land, the blue and orange is going to land above the blue and orange corner. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. That is placed. Again, this yellow is going bippity-boppity back and forth. Sorry. Still have a cough. Not still sick, but still have a cough. My body is healing. But I apologize for coughing in your ear. Okay, so yellow's on top. Ignore everything that's yellow. Look only for the piece that's not supposed to be there. That's the piece I'm going to place. So I hold the top row. I bring the entirety of the cube around until the corners match the front. Determine its direction. It's going this way. So away, up, in, second up, away, down, in, second down. And now you know why I always use all 8 of the moves when I didn't have to on the side edges, because it's if I always do VB by muscle memory, then I don't ever not follow through when I need to. So that cube's placed. Another piece on top that doesn't belong there. Red, so bring the corners to match the front. Determine its direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. As I said, the white is there to remind me which columns I'm on if I'm dealing with a large piece, large cube. Another piece on top that does not have the top color. Rotate the cube until the corners match the front. Determine its direction. And away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And we're just placing one at a time. Okay. And as long as there's a piece on top that does not have the top color, that's the one we place next. Okay. Bring the corners to match the front. Determine its direction. Move it away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay. And another piece that does not have the top color. Bring the corners match the front. Determine its direction. It's going to land here, so away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And okay. Now look, our yellow came back to the top. I told you it was going to. It was either going to come back to the top in a solved state or in an unsolved state, but it was going to come back to the top. And so when it's on top, I assess the sides. These ones, this side is correct, this side is correct, this side is correct, this side is correct. And so in this case, we did not get a parity. Maybe I can get a parity on this one and to show you how to solve that one. So here the cage is complete. Corners are done, opposite edges are done, side edges are done, edges are done. Doing it again on this one, just find a piece on the side that's incorrect. Okay. Now I can, depending on how much I get distracted by the pieces that I'm not working with, I can either do this one piece at a time, so I can displace just this yellow piece and work with one layer at a time, or I can work all the way to the middle, all the way up to the middle, but not past the middle, because I want my parity. If there's a parity, I want to force it to be on with the one side, rather than if I use all the sides, then I can get the parity can show up in other areas. So I only go halfway. So if I'm doing one layer at a time, it looks like this: up, up, down, down. Okay. And the layer that I'm on is the layer of the slice that's next to the edges. So this corner edge came here, but it can also land here. So I'm going to do just this. I'm just going one at a time, one top edge piece at a time. Okay. Corners match the front. It's going in the blue direction. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay. Find a piece on top. That's not your top color. Corners match the front. Determine its direction is this way. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And there's only one piece on yellow on top, one piece not yellow on top at a time, so I don't get confused. But if I wanted to, this is going to move here. I'm going to do that again, and then I'll show you. Up, up, down, down. Okay, my yellow came back to the top. When the yellow comes back to the top, it's time to evaluate. So, this one's correct, but this one's not. So if all of the edges are correct, then we can keep going. But if not all the edges are correct, then we displace another yellow. These two, for example, are together, so I can treat them as one piece when I displace. Okay, so slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. I treated it as one piece because I could, and here it is. But I won't be able to treat it as one piece all of the time, but I'll treat it as one piece for as long as I can, and then I will not worry about breaking it up. So bring the corners to match the front, determine its direction. It's going this direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And these ones are no longer matched, so I treat these as individuals now. Okay, I pick one of them. Okay, corners match the front, determine its direction, and I treat, and then just this column and this column. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Now that broke these apart, but that's okay, because they will find their way back. Now before I look at the back and do this one, this one's already on my front face, so I'm going to do this one. Okay. Corners match the front, and I'm ignoring everything but this piece that I'm moving. So it's going in the red direction. These two want to stay together, but they're not going to, so it doesn't matter. So slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay, and this one, the yellow's on top, so we're going to reassess that, but we're going to reassess it after I get all of the not yellows down. So I'm not going to assess it yet because I can assess both at the same time. So corners match the front. It's going in the green direction. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. There it is. Okay, look for a piece on top that's not yellow, and now the yellow found its way back to the top. So now we assess. This side is correct. This side is correct. This side has pieces that are incorrect, and this side has pieces that are incorrect. So I'm going to displace this incorrect yellow on top is the one I'm going to displace. Okay, and I'm going to put it into one of these incorrect pieces. Slide up, slide up, slide down. It's still Formula B. And then I look at the piece that's not yellow, and I continue placing the piece that's not yellow. Okay, corners match the front, determine its direction, away up, in up, away down, in down. Another piece on top that's not yellow, corners to match the front, determine its direction, slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay, another piece on top that's not yellow, corners match the front, determine its direction, away up, in up, away down, in down, and yellow came back to the top, so we reassess. This side is complete, this side is complete, this side is complete, this side is complete. Okay, so this is here we managed to get ourselves a parity. This piece wants to be here, and this piece wants to be here, and it looks like all of the other edge pieces are correct. So it looks like we only have two pieces that need to switch, because we can't put a center piece can't go where the edge piece is. A corner piece can't go where the edge piece is, and so you have when you're moving three pieces around, they have to be the same type of pieces. So it looks like we only have two pieces that need to be corrected. Okay. What that means is that I told you that what that means is that the center piece is a quarter turn off. Okay, we can't tell that because it's not an absolute center. We don't know that red doesn't belong there. Or actually, these pieces move, so it doesn't matter what color that is. So I can either let this be the slice that's off, and I can go like that, and then I have 1, 2, 3 edge pieces to place. But if I want to keep my, if I'm just learning and I want to keep my yellow as my top color, sorry. Okay, then I can displace this down here, and wherever it lands, that will also be the row, the layer that I can move. So I'm going to go, just yellow's now my top. So I'm going to make my quarter turn. And whereas before I had exactly two edge pieces that were incorrect, if I move either one of these into the correct place, I now have this piece is correct, and we have 1, 2, 3 pieces that are not. And we know how to move 3 pieces around. Several ways to do it. I'm going to displace my orange into this spot so that I can then work with that. So I'm going to displace something. So I made my quarter turn, okay, and now I'm going to displace something into that space. Slide up, slide up, slide down, and we're looking for not the top color, okay, and now my red is face down because orange is my top now. So corners match the front, determine its direction, it's going this way, okay, slide up, slide down, I could have just used another algorithm to place those 3 at once, but I can also do it using Formula B. So what I can do using just Formula A and B, I do, and then I don't have to learn other things, which means that when I teach people, since there's only A and B, and since they do it over and over again, so then it's easy to remember. Okay, not orange color on top, bring the corners to match the front. It's going in this direction, slide up, slide down. Color, top color came back to the top, reassess, and now the cage is complete. Yay! So, parodies are a lie. You can undo them with a single quarter turn, or you can learn a different parody algorithm for every way the parody shows up and looks like, because it can look like different things, but it's all caused by the invisible center is a quarter turn off. And so you can fix it that way. If you've just joined me, I'm Sunshine. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. Oh my goodness, my stage is getting dirty. So, how are you guys doing this morning? My sister said she was going to come and watch me today, but it looks like she either did and she's watching me, but she doesn't know how to comment, or she forgot, because if she tried to get on and couldn't, she was going to call me and ask me to walk her through it. She's the one that I cannot teach the Rubik's Cube to because she has no interest in solving it. So I gave her a 1x1 cube, and she's just thrilled with that. And that's all she wanted. So, da-dum, bum, bum, da-dum. So A and B, 4 moves, 8 moves, only moves the pieces that you want it to move, because B will always only move the 3 pieces around. A moves more than the pieces around, but if you do it in multiples of 6, then it only moves the pieces that you want it to move. So you don't have to know that. You can just trust the mathematics of the cube. And really quickly, so corners are done with the top row and outside columns. Edges were done with the top row and outside and inside columns. And centers are done, I'm just going to do one to show you. Centers are done, we're using 2 inner columns. Okay? And how you do that, you can use Formula A, but only for one face, because Formula A affects all 6 sides when you do it. So you can use Formula A for one face if you don't care what you're doing to the other ones, but if you do care, then you use Formula B. So for example, I find a piece that's not incorrect. This is a green face, there's a white piece on it. So this is the piece I'm going to apply Formula B to. So it's white, so I hold the cube so white is on top, because I'm going to move the cube from the face to the top. Okay, so this cube is going to land in this spot. I can bring down the yellow or the blue or the red or the white. Don't want to bring the white down, white's already there. Don't want to bring the blue down, because then I'd have to displace it again. I can bring down the red or the yellow, but the yellow has to move twice anyway, so I'm going to do that one. Okay, if it was a green, I'd bring the green down. So I've lined this up so that it's going to land in a spot that's advantageous. And then, so that was my first horizontal move. and then I go, I move, this is my first column, so I move the piece up. I rotate the top so that this lands in a different column. Can't do it this way because that's the same column, so I rotate the top, and now this is my second column, so I move it up again, which puts it to the back, and that's okay. Then every other move is horizontal, every other horizontal is the reverse of the one before it, so the yellow, the edges are there to remind me which layer I'm on. So down, and down, and then reset. And so that moved this piece up here and this piece down here. If I wanted to move this piece, I just pick a piece that's wrong and throw it in the direction it wants to be. So green, it's yellow on the green side, hold the cube so yellow's on top. This cube is going to land here, so I can bring down the blue or the red or the white. Let's bring the white down. So up, slide to a different column, second up, reverse, down, and we're moving 3 pieces at a time, but we only care about one of the pieces because the piece that we're moving is obviously incorrect, and the piece that's where it wants to be is obviously incorrect. So we're taking, of the 3 pieces, at least 2 of them were incorrect, and we're making one of them correct. So that's how you do it. It's formula A, formula B, all over just rather rinse, repeat, over and over again. And it all works on every complexity Rubik's Cube. Big ones too. The more pieces, the more pieces that it is, the more pieces you have to. So it takes me about 3 to 10 seconds for each cube that I move, and the more cubes that there are, the more cubes there are to move. But it's still just 3 pieces at a time. Just find a piece, throw it in direction. Find a piece, throw it in its direction. Over and over and over again. The AB method also works on minxes as well. Formula A, formula B, all you need to solve every complexity of minx. The difference between, as far as the ABCube method goes, the difference between a cube and a minx is that the cubes can get a parity that you have to know how can unsolve with a quarter turn, but there's no order of operations. You can do whatever order you want. I can do layer by layer. I can do corners to the inside. I can do inside to out. It doesn't matter as long as I'm willing to reset my centers when if I have a parity turn. So no order of operations. However, on the minx, there is an order of operations. You need to do because when the 2 columns that you're using, one of them is the center column, then it has collateral movement around. So if you do the stars first and then the non-star parts, then the non-star parts can be solved with the formula B moving only 3 pieces around. So star first and then the non-star parts for the minxes, but you cannot get a parity because a parity is when everything is a quarter turn off, when the layer is a quarter turn off. Now if this, let me demonstrate. Okay. It's now a quarter turn off. Okay. I needed odd number of turns to put it back this way. I needed odd number of turns to put it back this way. So if it's 1 quarter turn off in one direction, it's 3 quarter turns off in another direction. Either way, it's an odd number, so that's an odd number parity. But on a minx, okay, if I have this 1 quarter turn off, okay, it's 1 quarter turn off in one direction, but it's 4 turns off on the other direction. So since it's an even number of turns off, if it's an odd number turn, it's also even number turn, we work with the even number of turns off, and it does not get a parity. So those are the differences. Let me know what kind of puzzle you want me to try next, because I've only tried the AB method on cubes and minxes. I have not tried them on the pyramids because of course I could do the pyramids back in the 80s when I was doing the cubes, but I haven't seen a pyramid in decades, so I have not been able to try it. I am not clever enough in my head to be able to do things in my head without the physical cube in my hand. Let me tell you, story time. Story time. Someone told me that my method reminded them of the Varasana method back in the 80s. I'm like, oh, let me look that up. And I came across this. Jeff Conquers the Cube, Jeffrey Varasano. This is the guy that I watched live on TV set the first record. for Rubik's Cubes. The very first Rubik's Cube speed competition, and he's the one who won it. And so I looked up his method, found him on YouTube, looked up his method. It is very similar in order of operations, and it's very similar in that, I mean, but his brain is so much bigger and more complex than mine, so much prettier than mine. You know, and for example, on his YouTube channel, he's just like, YouTube, you know, the tutorial isn't one tutorial, hour long, doesn't matter. You know, he'll say, okay, we want to move this piece, so we're going to move it to the top, and then we're going to rotate the top so it's out of the way, and then just reverse what you did. I can't just reverse what I did in my head. If I haven't written it down, I can't reverse it. Once I've got a couple moves gone, I can't just reverse it. My brain has already reset. So I'm like, this man is amazing. Because I mean, so I fangirled him. I messaged him on Facebook, and you know, and he responded, and so we chatted for a while, and he told me the story. He told me his story of when the 4x4 first came out, when the Rubik's Revenge first came out, because he was the champion, and of course he was invited to the con. And if you're not following him on Facebook or whatever, go look him up. He's amazing. He currently owns a pizzeria, and he still cubes with the people that come in, the kids that come in. You know, he teaches them the cube, or he'll take their cube and he'll make his cube match their scramble. You know, it's fun. But anyway, the story that he told me was that he was invited to the con. They gave him they put a 4x4 in his hands and said, "Here, try this, blah blah blah." And so he played with it, and then when it's time to go home, he realized, oh wait, that doesn't happen on 3x3. I haven't learned that one yet. And they said, okay, time to go home. Give us the cube back. You can't have it. And for me, that would have my brain would have just broken right then, because it's like it did break when I got a 4x4 for the first time. I got halfway solved layer by layer, and an internal piece broke. I did not know how to fix it, so I sat with a broken cube until I finally threw it away. But my brain had an unsolved puzzle in it until I was able to get it and actually learn it. Well, not Jeffrey Varasano, no. He said, oh, I haven't learned this one yet. And they took the cube away, so he went home, and with colored pencils and graph paper, he drew out what the parody looked like, and then he solved the parody in 10 moves. Without the cube in his hand. I'm like, I worship him. He's so... This man has a beautiful brain. So anyway, yeah, so go play with your cubes. Check out Jeffrey Varasano. He's amazing. Amazing. Like I said, he only has one tutorial, and it's like an hour long. But he's just very, his brain is very intuitive. You know, and he also does, you know, his how to learn is, instead of do something and then write down what it did, is you come up with the parody with the commutator, like Formula B or Formula A, and then you do the commutator and you map out what it does on your cube, and then you know what that does. And so that's fun. Go have a wonderful day. I'm going to go feed my face and pet my kitty. So, thank you for joining me, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye, you guys.